Good morning. I just realized about a minute ago I'm sitting here ready to go, and I didn't put a shirt on yet. And I did do one video once with no shirt on, but that was also one that after I had a couple of drinks. Oh my goodness. And this 10th day of July 2012, the title that I've chosen is, for me, it's time to turn the page. And I did write a blurb, and it goes like this. I can't speak for you. And I don't want to anyway. For myself, I'm tired of having everything in my world reversed by the matrix. I'm tired of the injustice, tired of the fraud, tired of the deception, tired of the limitations, tired of false accusations, tired of leaders passing laws that enslave people, tired of having the rich steal from the poor, tired of rigged elections, tired of having my rights trampled by the very people we entrusted to protect them. Yes, I'm tired of living on a planet where people profit from war and where a handful can live in luxury while the majority are impoverished. It's time to stop ignoring the problems and pretending that will make them go away. As I said, I cannot speak for you, but for me, it's time to turn the page. Yesterday, after working for a good while on preparing my next step in my legal processes, and there's more than one of them, I finally was able to get filed into the record, or at least mailed to the proper authorities, the paperwork that I have mentioned in recent videos. But before I share a piece of that, I want to share a quotation from Thomas Merton that appeared in my inbox this morning. You do not need to know precisely what is happening, or exactly where it is all going. What you need is to recognize the possibilities and challenges offered by the present moment, and to embrace them with courage, faith, and hope. Indeed, we need to embrace the possibilities and challenges, the problems that we face, and the opportunity in them to change the world that we live in. And we do that by changing our lives, by opening ourselves to truth, by opening ourselves to learn more, by being willing to admit that we don't have all the answers, by being willing to admit that just maybe what we've been told is true isn't true, that our whole lives have been based on and built on a false foundation, where those that are in government and religion and corporations and our education systems might not have been telling us the whole truth. I mean, look around at the world that we're living in. Look at the mass revolt in Mexico, where millions and millions, the largest demonstration in the world, where once again they put in a president who was not elected by the people. And the people know that it's fraud. And yet there are still some people in my circle of friends that still would like to pretend that everything is hunky-dory. No, it's not. It's time to turn the page. As I said, I actually filed 19 pages of documents yesterday, and with the notary presentment, it came to 20 pages for those that were done by notary presentment, which is 5 of the 10 envelopes that went out were done by notary presentment. I want to read. I'm going to be scanning all of these documents into the computer, hopefully today. I can't promise that it's going to happen today because I have so much on my plate. I still have the bankruptcy court to deal with, which has a hearing on Thursday, and I still have some untied ends and some unfinished business to take care of there. And I still have a letter that I received from the Fourth Court of Appeal in Daytona Beach that wants to handle my appeal without it going to trial by jury, which is what my appeal was, for it to go to a court that enables trial by jury, so that my property has to be handled by a jury, that they can't just take it without a jury trial, which is my right, by the way. In matters of involving more than $20, it has to be done by trial by jury, which has been my demand for several years now, that the courts have tried to deny and deny again in allowing the bank to steal my property. Anyway, I'm just saying I have a lot on my plate, plus some Republic business that I have to take care of. I mean, I quite honestly feel overwhelmed much of the time, and I was not even able to finish my Metagroup's community calendar, all of the updates that came in yesterday afternoon. I did get the weekend events page finally created and finished last evening and sent out, but there's still a lot of work to be done, including the Casadega events, which usually takes me an hour or more just on that alone to do the updates. Anyway, I want to read the first paragraph from this document. And let me say, this document starts out with the alleged case numbers, the case numbers that have been assigned to this driving without a license charge and resisting arrest without violence. It's the state of Florida alleging injured party status as the accuser, presenter, and plaintiff in error, versus my straw man, Ronald T. Van Dyke, alleged to be the injuring party, accused, presentee, defendant in error. And then I drew a line under that, and I put Ronald Thomas Van Dyke, which is my given name, except it was junior when I was born, and when my dad died, I dropped the junior because the senior no longer existed on this plane. But I am the counter plaintiff in this paperwork, and I've brought charges against Victor Velez of the Brevard County Sheriff's Department, Catherine Fredette of the State's Attorney Office of the State of Florida Division 11, Meredith Biggs of the State Attorney's Office of the State of Florida Division 6, and John C. Murphy of the 18th Judicial Circuit Court in and for Brevard County. And this is filed by notary presentment, registered mail, return receipt requested to the court. And I actually have the registered number there. But it's the counterclaim in the nature of a motion to dismiss. I'm expecting them, when they see this, to dismiss all of the charges and to restore me. They may not, but that would be my hope, that they would do that. But here's what the opening paragraph is in the counterclaim. And it's a counterclaim. I'm saying counterclaims because it's 4 individuals that I'm naming. Well, actually more than 4, but 4 whose names appear on this document. You'll see what I mean when I read this. These counterclaims are serious in nature, for they involve the violation of civil rights protected by the constitutions that form a firewall between public officials and the public they are sworn to serve. They are based on the presumption that each individual involved in this matter is operating under signed oaths of office as required by law and worded in accordance with the federal and state constitutions. In each case, the matters being addressed involve a breach of trust under those oaths. Should any of the counter-defendants not have a signed oath of office on the record, this is an even more serious breach of public trust, for it indicates that that person or persons are impersonating a public servant official, which constitutes fraud and other serious crimes. This counterclaim not only includes the individuals named above, it also includes the corporations for which they are employed as public servants and the highest official within each corporation. Each of these entities is liable and responsible, individually and corporately, and will very likely be subject to lawsuits in federal court under Title 18 Criminal and Title 42 Civil of the United States Code for Civil Rights Violations. I'm taking action. Do I want to take action? I want to be left alone. That's the truth. I just would like to be left alone, like so many people in this world that don't want to get involved. If they're not messing with me, it's not my problem. I get it. I really do get it, folks. I really do get why so many of my friends don't want to take active roles in standing with me. I really do get it. They're not messing with you right now. They're messing with me. And you don't see the link. And I'm not 100% sure that I would see the link if it didn't involve me personally. So I'm giving you grace. I'm giving you an out. But at the same time, I'm inviting you to recognize that what happens to one of us is happening to all of us. Where injustice is coming down on any individual person in the entire world, it affects everybody. When we don't stand up and say, no, stop it. You are public servants. You are trustees of the public good. You have an awesome responsibility if you are wearing a uniform, if you are holding a public office, if you are sitting in the ivory towers. You have an awesome responsibility to use that office for good. And folks, in the matrix, it's been turned on its head. It's been turned inside out and upside down, and everything is backwards. Nothing is what it appears to be. The medical profession works to make us sick through the pharmaceutical industries and through cutting our body parts away and using radiation and other therapies that damage us, putting chemicals in our water and in our air and in our food, modifying what nature has created as perfect foods, modifying it to actually do damage to people. And then we have a justice system that allows banks to get away with theft of property without due process of law. Then we have government officials that pad their own pockets at the expense of the majority, charging fees for things that people have a right to do anyway. And charging fees, exorbitant fees in many cases, to try to buy justice so that only the very rich can even afford a just settlement or a just result from a cause brought forth in the courts. Everything is backwards, folks. We have religious people in religious leadership positions teaching people to separate themselves and to hate their brothers and sisters if they don't have the proper mode of living, if they are seeking love in incorrect ways that are not approved by the consensus of that particular belief system and society. We have religious people and spiritual teachers teaching people that it's okay to turn your back on injustice because everybody brings whatever happens to them on themselves, and they create their own reality. So if something bad is happening to them, it's obviously their fault. It's not your fault. It's not your problem. It's their problem. You don't have to take it. You don't have to show compassion. You don't have to have a heart. You don't have to think about it. You can ignore it and turn your back on it. Yeah, this is what spiritual teachers are teaching, and they're lying to us. They're lying to us. The world is the way it is because we've allowed it to become the way it is, because we've been apathetic. We've been lazy. We've not been willing to learn about the injustices. We've not been willing to learn about the laws that were set up to protect us. We have that in our history now. And yet we also have a history of ignoring those very laws in our culture and in our society. It's time to turn the page, folks. Do you get it? I can't speak for you, but I'd like you to speak with me on these matters. We need to address the problems and the people that are holding the problems in place, as I am doing with my countersuit. I'm bringing charges. Ultimately, I'm bringing charges against these people because they have violated my rights. And when they violate my rights, they're violating your rights too. It's all connected, folks. When are you going to understand that you can't just say, well, it's not my problem, it's not my mission in life. It's all of our mission. We created this situation together, and we're only going to be able to correct it together. Together. We are one. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Are we going to stand in unity and in cooperation with each other, or are we going to continue to fight each other? That's the mode of the matrix. It's constant competition. It's constant conflict. It's constant battle. We're going to have to wake up, and we're going to have to change it. The opportunity is here right now, today, this year, 2012, these weeks, these months. This year, we have the opportunity, we have the energy present with us to change the world. What are you going to do? For me, it's time to turn the page. I thank you for listening. Namaste.